you today. And yeah, we definitely have a really cool topic for today. We're in this physical energy right now. Taurus season is kind of giving us a run for our money when it comes to like, literally taking the bull by the horns and doing something different. And we're really noticing over these past couple of weeks this massive purge that we've been all going through. And it feels like there's a lot of old stuff getting kicked up for us that again we have either chosen not to deal with or have avoided or abandoned or just denied that it's there. And there's been, I don't know about your world, Ralph, but there has been so many physical things that have been happening to not just myself, but like people around me, like all like injuries and illness and all sorts of physical stuff.
Yeah.
And our line of thought is that the majority of these physical ailments are all caused by energy. And this is what we're going to talk about today is getting into some of that energy, getting into some of what our body is carrying from the past and how to release it. So really, really great topic. And Ralph, this is your specialty, so I am going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, it's what we were both tracking. And what that means is you and I were both noticing this pattern, this idea, this thought this morning as we were doing our morning meditations and as we connected together. And the idea is there's, stuff that happened. Like, why is life the way it is right now? And I meet with people that make millions of dollars. I meet with people that don't make very much money. I mean, we meet with people with chronic illnesses, and others that are doing pretty good, and on the outside they look good. And you know how it is. You just have no idea what somebody is going through. As I like to talk to people, I like to talk to a lot of people, and I meet with a lot of people from all walks of life. And man, when you hear their stories, people are dealing with stuff. And there's the ups and the downs, and some people are these amazing times, but then deep inside there's some deep hurts, and then they have some deep issues, even the people that make a lot of money. And then it's like, why don't they have the money now? What happened? You got all this money. And other people, the health keeps getting them, or the accidents. It's like, what's going on? And so the idea with this podcast today is to heal this old stuff, the old wounds, the old traumas. The stuff turns into shame, deep inner shame, hatred, self-hatred, judgment, guilt. All that stuff is bubbling up. I guess it's part of being human. And what happens is, from a anatomy and physiology standpoint, I'm a physical therapist, integrated manual therapist, able to feel what's happening in people's bodies and see it and help people heal from it. And when you're conceived, the sperm and the egg come together, and then you start to become, you're like you're alive, and you're starting this journey. And there's part of your brain, and right here over the right side of your forehead, it's called your right orbital frontal cortex. It just basically means this stuff in here, and it's connected to some stuff in the back called the vagus nerve, and it's also connected to a lot of stuff in the very center called your limbic system, which is your automatic responses, your fears, your fight or flight stuff. And when you're in the womb, you start tracking. It comes online very early, and you start tracking how your mom is doing. Like, is your mom really stressed? Is she feeling like she's in a war zone? Is she full of anxiety? Is there lots of stuff in her life that's problematic? How are her relationships? How is her money? How is her health? How are all her children? Like, these things show up as an energetic pattern. And of course, you have no words. You won't be able to remember any of this stuff. You're in a subconscious, you're like a sponge taking it all in. And it connects up from this part that's monitoring how your mom is doing to deep in the part of the brain that's the instinctual, ragey, ecstasy parts of the brain, and the back of the brain where the vagus nerve is that goes to all the organs. So if somebody's coming into the world and their mom is under severe stress, there can be situations that are called failure to thrive. They come out skinny, they're a bit malnourished, they're always a little weak, they always have infections, life isn't kicking for them. It's like, severe versions of this. And then we're not even talking the abuse. Like, if she's being abused mentally or emotionally or physically or in other ways, it's like that stuff goes through the nervous system, and the baby starts to in the womb starts to notice it. because as you're coming through into the world, you need to know, are you coming into a war zone? Are you coming into a peaceful place? Or is there some of both? Of course, there's usually some of both of everybody, but the baby is making very good discernments so that it knows if it comes into a war zone that it's going to shunt the blood to the muscles and joints and the deep limbic rage parts of the brain, because it needs to know how to flee, it needs to know how to fight, it's got to be strong. And if it comes into part of the if it's a more peaceful place and there's love and there's good things happening and there's enough money and there's not a stress between, if that's the version that you're coming into, then the baby, the fetus, picks up that information and shunts the blood to the GI tract, where all the organs are, and the parasympathetic mode kicks in and the healing mode kicks in, and that baby is more resilient and can handle the stresses of life, and they're strong. So we usually have different versions. People come in with their own continuum along this path. My goal today with this podcast is to give you some tools. I'm a manual therapist, give you manual techniques to what we call down-regulate that vagus nerve and this right orbital frontal cortex and the deep limbic rage stuff. We have lots more that we do. It's what Katie and I do at different levels. We all have our techniques, and Katie and I do. And I'm going to show you some very simple manual techniques that you can use that take this system and take the load off of it. And the thing about these kind of ways of doing it, including their peace process we use and the pure consciousness process we use. Katie's started a thing because her clients are asking her for a framework, a guide in their spiritual development. Through all this pain, there's got to be a reason why you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with. It's a spiritual path. And those are the people that are attracted to Katie. And to me, the version that shows up is a lot of physical healing around stuff like that as well. And so you can't talk therapy this, because you didn't have words when you were in the womb and when you were in the first 2 years of life. And just think about, do you remember your first 2 years of life? You start to remember stuff later, even up until age 6, and even later, you're just a sponge. You're just taking in all this data, including the mental anguish, the emotional pain, the spiritual pain of your parents, and it's like all this stuff is in there. And so we're going to do a technique. So I can take us through a beginning one right now, Katie, and then we can talk some more, or what do you feel?
That sounds good. I think that we just go right in.
Okay, let's just do it. So what you can do, like I do with most of my videos and work, is I like to test real things. I'm a Taurus. It's Taurus season. Physical stuff. Physical therapist. You can walk around. You can stand. You can bend. You can bend your body, your arms. You can see how you feel. Because when you let go of these traumas, you're physically lighter. You can tell when somebody's dealing with lots of inner pain. They don't have the same posture as somebody that's living life fully and feels very happy. So it shows up in your posture. So as we release these, you can notice if there's a difference in how you walk, in how your feet touch the ground, in how tall you feel, in how your shoulders move, in the lightness of your movements, are there any pains? And then we'll recheck in a little bit and see what's different. So what you can do is, if there is something that's bugging you, just for a moment, you could think, what would you like to change? If something were to change for you, what would you like to see change in this next few moments? Like if you could truly let go of something and get the life you want, whether it's your physical health or your financial health, your emotional health, your relationships, if there's something that you would like to change, let's just all put an intention of what that might be. Okay, and then just let go. And we're going to just, without a lot of talk about how this works, we're going to do a technique and then we'll test it and see how you feel. So what I'd like you to do is just notice the top of your sternum. You got the neck, the soft part, and then you have the very first part of the bone. And notice your belly button and just touch your belly button. And I want you to touch it just super lightly. Like if you touched it any less, you wouldn't be touching. So touch it so light that if you touched a butterfly, you wouldn't hurt the butterfly. And then super, super light like that, just direct the skin up towards the top of your head. So it's a super light touch, and it's a super light pressure towards the top of your head. And just hold that for a little bit. And then turn your head to the left. And we do this to the, or actually, let me start over. Whichever side is your non-dominant hand. So most people are right-handed, so most people will turn their head to the left. If you're left-handed, turn your head to the right. And just hang out there. And this is because I like to balance the body physically. So we're going to start with the turning the head to the non-dominant side. As you barely touch these two spots, your belly button and the top part of your sternum, your breastbone, and barely bring that up to the sky. And you can stay for 10 seconds, up to 30 seconds, 50 seconds. And you can do it many times a day. And then the technique to take the nervous system down I guess I should say, optimize the way this vagus nerve and this parts of your brain work. The technique is turn your head to the dominant side. Yeah, and I'll leave links in the YouTube and Rumble and Spotify where I learned these techniques. There's lots of great teachers that I've learned this from. We're doing two different techniques right now, or two different methods to down regulate that vagus nerve. And some of you might start to feel that there's something happening to your nervous system. Like you might be feeling calmer or somehow more at peace. This actual process of turning your head to the dominant side in and of itself is a very powerful way to enter a deep meditative state. So whenever you're stressed, you can turn your head to the dominant side. If you're right-handed, to the right side. The reason we started with to the left side was because physically, I don't want everybody just doing one side for their range of motion. You know, I want to make sure you can move both ways equally well, because what you can start doing is doing a lot of this throughout the day. And when you're stressed, when you're under fear, when you're under attack, when you feel like you're under attack, what happens is you lock in. You don't turn your head. It's like an animal that's looking out for danger. You're looking right at it, and you're not going to turn left, and you're not going to turn right. You might be fighting, or you might be running. So you lock in, and what happens is those muscles, the upper it's called upper trapezius muscles, and the big SCM muscles, the muscles that are in your front of your neck, they lock in, and they're connected to the vagus nerve. So when you turn to one side, dominant side, you're taking that system into a calming way. You're like telling the vagus nerve, hey, you can relax. So if you have a kid that so it's a good thing to teach your kids. You know, if you're stressed out, if you're angry, turn your head to your dominant side for a little while. So I think you might be noticing this. Now we have another technique that we go deep in, Katie and I do, called the peace process. It's what we call many things. We also have it with something called the pure consciousness process that we use. And so while we're here, I'll just have us do one little bit of that. Just notice what's happening in your body. And stay out of your thoughts. Let them come, let them go. And just consider, who am I? Like that question, who am I? And then you can look and start to take a look. Who is it that's watching? Like you're watching what's happening in your body. Who is it that's watching? Okay, and then you can come back and then relax and then retest. Walk around, see how your feet are on the ground, see how you're walking, see if you still feel the same about any of the issues of the day, what's going on. See if there's a little space in your body or somehow it's lubricated. And I really love to see how people's feet are on the ground. Are they different? Do you feel taller? Is your posture different? Do your arms move different? So that's a little bit of a way to take this pressure off. And the trauma came in. It came in a very strong way. It landed in your nervous system, and then it landed in your physical body. And so this is a way to use your physical body to take that nervous system back to a place of calmness, where you can do anything you want. You can run, you can fight, you can calm down, you can just be at peace. You can do anything you want from this place. So that's a technique.
Yeah, really, really helpful. And I think also we forget that we can calm ourselves down like this, and we get so caught up in the memories of our stuff, of our identity, of our past, and when those things come up for us, instead of going into them, we can use something like this to just notice, well, where is it living in my body, and am I willing to just spend some time with that part of my body? And doing something like this to calm down the whole entire nervous system, I think really helps us get back in tune with our bodies. We've been feeling so disconnected lately. And again, this being Taurus season, it's all about being physical. So getting back in touch with ourselves, being able to allow ourselves to feel some of these things, and again, to know that where are we feeling dysregulated, and are we noticing that we're living in a constant state of dysregulation? And I'm going to say that I think most of us are. I know myself included. I'm very dysregulated at a lot of times, and having certain techniques like this is really, really great, because we can do all the mindset work in the world, as I always say, but if we're not doing the actual body work, then our stuff is still going to be with us because it lives deep within the cells. So this is a really great way to help ourselves get back into balance, get back into harmony, and be able to feel clear. And, we're not clouded by all of these emotions and the intensity of the emotions when we take this small amount of time. And really, what was that? Not even 10 minutes, maybe 5 or 7. So it's not like it takes a long time to do this. And so I think that if we are willing to spend a little bit of time with our bodies, and to say, hey, I'm here, let's work together, let's get back to a state of well-being, then I think that we're going to be able to much better handle what comes up for us. And there's no shortage of stuff coming up for us. And again, as part of the Great Purge, this is what we are in, and it's helping us align with what it is that we really truly want. We have to create that space. And if we are so full of our emotions and everything is just like, "Duh, duh, 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 duh," then there's no space for anything to come in and for anything to be different. So allowing ourselves to be willing to create that space, and maybe, feel some uncomfortable things for a little while, really does allow us that freedom, that sovereignty that we are looking for energetically, so that we can align and manifest with what is coming next.
Thank you, Katie. That's a nice overview and synopsis and the whole thing. And it does seem like there's lots of people in a lot of hurt, even if the ones that look good right now. I've been taking a break from the news. That was one of my things I decided to do about a month ago. So until my birthday in the middle of May, I decided I'm not going to watch this one news show that I watch all the time. And it's been kind of cool. But then I get hearing certain things like Southwest Airlines is not going to fly into Bellingham anymore. And I'm like, wow. I wonder if other airlines are also cutting way back. Like, and what else is going on? So yeah, I hope this helps people that are dealing with whatever they're dealing with, whether they're out of a job, or worried about their job, or worried about the money coming in, or worried about something with a family member, a big health concern. There's stuff that we do to help people get their health back, and along the way clear this inner stuff, because a lot of times that's what's showing up with health stuff. You do this inner stuff, and your physical body gets better.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. We have a few people chiming in. There's Catherine and Ilya. Good to see you guys. So that's what we had today. I put our links in, and I'll go make sure I'm in all the different places: in Anxiety and Depression Forever Facebook group, and Crush Imposter Syndrome, and in the anxiety group and our personal profiles. And I'm going to put this, of course, on our Spotify and Rumble and YouTube. So look for that in all of the places you like to listen, and please share it because people really need help now. And if we can be there to help people, that's our mission. So any other words of wisdom for us, Katie?
Um, Yeah, just, the one thing that is coming through for all of us, I think, is to really just honor how we're feeling right now. Rest when your body says to rest. Make sure you're staying hydrated and have grace with yourself as you go through whatever it is that you're going through, and know that you're not alone. There are people out there to help. So feel free to reach out. We're always available. And of course, if you have any questions, let us know. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was our pleasure to bring you this session, and we will see you next time.
Great. And it's sacred-cocoon.com for Katie. It's in it'll be in all the links, and ralphhavens.com or autoimmuneanswers.com. All right, you guys.